shops and you go to taxi ranks, and that's what we've been doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Are we everywhere?
I'm not seeing you there.
Are we everywhere? Absolutely, we can't be. We just haven't been able to, be as big as some of the parties that are 112 years old. To be 112 years old is a significant outcome.
Yes.
And even the third political party on the list is more than a decade old. They are the same ones who are complaining about us. We're not even a year old. That should give you a sense of just how much of a threat we are. You can imagine, think of this as in human terms. A child that is not even a year old can't even speak. They can't feed themselves. They can't walk. A 10-year-old can feed themselves. They can talk. They've got agency. A 112-year-old should actually be in a grave somewhere.
Why are you subtweeting Malema and his...
I'm not subtweeting anybody. I'm just telling you what it is.
Yeah.
So, as a person who's 112 years old is likely in the grave.
Yeah.
So, by and large, we represent what the future should be. And yet we're already far ahead of our own development.
Yeah. But the 10-year-old says, we're now cheese boy. Those big families that capture everyone are giving you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And to me, it's more envy than anything, because when he started very early, and he was just born and he jumped into the national politics and he got big numbers, almost 1 million votes.
Yeah. And
yourselves, you are born, no one knows what you guys are about. Boom, already you've got millions in your account. Do you want to explain that to anyone who will doubt you? Who will doubt your independence, your free will?
First, I'd like to say that, you can't throw stones when you live in a glass house. I think you must go and look at the IEC declaration and ask yourself, the person shouting the most, where are they in that list? My recollection is they're not even on the list. And if I recall, IEC declaration are a legal requirement. So would you trust someone who supersedes and undercuts the rule of law, right? But still stands on the highest platform to shout and say, yeah, look at that guy. Show us yourself if you are that interested in leveling the playing field. But anyhow, we're not going to degenerate because we hold ourselves to a higher standard. We've declared, right? Because we cannot say that we want to prioritize the rule of law and transparency as a value, and then when we talk funding, we behave otherwise. So I think of all the parties, we've been the most consistent insofar as the values are concerned and how we are behaving.
Who are your blessers?
Our blessers are South Africans, people who are born of this country and are passionate about...
Who gives you money?
Yeah, Tlamo, let me explain to you. Doesn't come from one place, by the way. So it's important for me to give you the whole picture so that...
By the way, when we're speaking, the graphic will be here of showing who funds you, and it's not a secret. I just want you to say it.
No, it's fine. But remember, the graphic only represents the IEC's version of the world, which is anybody that... gives more than 100,000, that's not the only people that give us. That's why I'm saying there's hundreds and thousands of people that give us support over and above the ones that you will be able to see in the graphic. So at the base, you've got ordinary South Africans who debit order between 50 Rand all the way to, let's say, 2,000-3,000 Rand, young professionals on a debit order function that give us money monthly. We've got those who will give us donations, once-off donations, anything between 1,000 Rand and 99,000 Rand. You won't be able to see them because they're not on the list. Another reason why you won't be able to see them is in this country, unfortunately, we've got a culture of victimization. So we've got people in corporate, we've got people who have got their own businesses that are exposed to government business. And so if they're seen to be supporting Rise Mzansi, they immediately get victimized on the basis of making a democratic choice to support someone. So let's be mindful of that. It's not as simple as saying Tsepo from Kokaikai who works at a bank can just give us money, even if they can afford it. They can't, because immediately their name shows up on the graphic that you're going to show, and then people start asking out, Tsepo Muna, Kante Wetsalang. And they become victimized. They start losing commercial opportunities. Bakubu wako spanning. They become victimized and so on. So let's also understand the politics of funding. But let me come to your question, which is what most people are going to want to talk about, which is the big donations. Politics is expensive. Democracy is expensive. The complexity of politics makes it expensive. The T-shirts that you see, the posters, the people, all the logistics required to build a national footprint cost a lot of money. And so we have to look at high net worth individuals. They're called high net worth individuals because there's people that have got a lot of capital to be able to dispense into things like politics. And so in our list, you'll see people like Rebecca Oppenheimer is there. You've got Kairos, which is a company out of KZN. You've got in Jozi, which is another one, and then there's a fourth one that the name of the company is kind of it's got 10 number, whatever. And those are people that looked at our proposition and looked at our manifesto and said, we like these politics. They represent our ambition for the country, and we want to support that. We have got rules and regulations around how we get our funding. And one of those is that we must always maintain policy and political independence. We are astute professionals and business people. We understand the impact of funding on influence. And therefore, that's one of the things and the guardrails we put as part of our funding constitution to make sure that anybody who approaches us with the desire to support, that they understand the rules of the game. What that list, the thing that you'll put up, does not show you are the people that we've said no to. And as an organization as young as ours, we need all the support we can get. But because of our values and because of those funding parameters that I've described, we've had to look at certain people and say, look, just based on the fact that, number one, you may want to influence us or you've got certain expectations that don't align with ours, let's not go any further. We'll go where there is an alignment of expectation, which includes that people that support us don't want to interfere in our politics.
Are you free to disclose those you rejected?
No.
If someone smuggles cigarettes and wants to give you money, or is alleged to have smuggled cigarettes, would you take that money?
No.
If someone...
Unlike others. But please continue.
Yeah. So if someone is alleged to come from a family that has captured the republic from since time immemorial, was to give you money, would you accept the money?
Define captured.
Captured would be your Oppenheimers, your Minel families, your Ruperts and the likes. They are rumored to be controlling South Africa's financial trajectory and, in essence, the economy. And people don't like them much because the monopoly they hold, and they are called names. And people have, without proof, of course, they have labeled them enemies of the people. Do you see them in that light, or you genuinely see them as funders?
We must be careful of how we want to label and bunch people based on perception. I don't think that one can sit and have a universal understanding of morality in the way that you describe it. One person's hero is another person's villain. Even the concept of capture, I would have asked you, does Patrice Motsepe sit under that description?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Because you said influential family, they do work with the state, etc., etc. Does he fall into that category of people?
He falls into a category of beneficiaries of those family together with Cyril Ramaphosa.
Oh, so he can't be seen as a person who...
He's a beneficiary, meaning that he himself is under those families.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't see him as an independent owner of capital?
No. I see him as a... No, that's not me seeing him.
Yes.
That's what the narrative.
Okay.
The narrative draws him as one of those who are projected to be beneficiaries, but are controlled with a PS station at the back, a controller.
So it's that question of perception.
Yeah, of course.
We are...
Of course, and I think with your rejection of money that comes with intentions that you don't like, it's also perception based.
Yeah. We are very clear. If someone comes to the table and says, we want you to think about this policy idea or this positioning based on the fact that we support you. We say no to that money.
So
and that's that.
Did Rebecca give you any
No.
positioning?
No.
Okay,
She's a South African who believes in the proposition of Rise Mzansi, in the leadership and the credibility of
Did
the
you question why she gives you money?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
And that's what she said.
Okay. The other one that you rejected, maybe one or two, they told you what they stand for, and then you said, if you stand for this, we don't want.
Exactly.
You spoke about heroes. Is she a hero?
Is who a hero?
Rebecca.
I don't know.
Okay,
I
you
don't
spoke
want to make
about-
a qualitative
You spoke about
assessment
other
on her
people's heroes may
contribution.
not be other people's heroes and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make it clear, she's not your hero.
No, she's just a South African who is contributing to a better outcome for this country. If we are Rise Mzansi and we want to make the country better and someone supports us, that should say something about them. I'm not the one who must make that judgment. People must make their own judgments. We are all adults that must look at the facts before us, and we must all decide, who is who.
The 100,000 cap, is it a hindrance? You think you could gather more money if it wasn't there? Do you like it? Because it took many years to make sure this policy comes into place, so people could declare, because the democracy also demands transparency, because people fear such that you spoke about. So Nomvula Mokonyane a few years ago said they spent $1 billion in the election campaign, and that is a ruling party.
Yeah.
And you guys are contesting, and I don't know how much you've got in your purse.